Hi, this is Shasa Thomas. Welcome. Today I want to show you how to make this scoop. I ventured into making the scoop myself out of necessity. I broke the one that I keep in my ice bin, so I decided to make another one. And I want to show you how to do that today. First, you need a slab of clay. And that's just a ball that you will roll out. Today I already rolled mine out, but I want to show you I simply used a cake dowel. So I'm lightly rolling over that. And then I'm taking a metal rib and compressing the clay after rolling. You want to make sure you go up and down and side to side to really join that clay together and smooth it out. And then as I'm smoothing, if you see air bubbles, take your scoring tool and pop those little bubbles in the clay. That will ensure that you won't have any damage when firing. And take the metal rib and compress again. Side to side. And again, I'm using light pressure when compressing because I'm not digging into the clay. I'm lightly going over it. And you can tell that I see a few more air bubbles. So I'm taking care of those and compressing. Okay. Now that the clay is conditioned, I'm going to start working with my mold. So here is the scoop mold that I broke. Yep, that's the handle, not attached. But it actually makes it perfect for me to do these two things separate, and then I'll show you how to join them together. So we're going to start with the scoop part. Take our slab of clay and just get a feel for the area of clay that we're going to use. Any excess clay I'm going to cut off right now so that there's about an inch or two on all sides of the mold. Okay, see that? And I'm turning it over so that I can make sure that the mold is right in the center of my slab. That's easiest for me to work with. And then I'm going to start to just gently with my fingers start to push that clay into the mold so that I can have my clay to start to take that shape. Okay, so I'm lightly pushing. If you push too hard, you can have cracks and tears. And yes, they can be repaired, but it's easier to not have that happen. So I'm going to be gentle with my fingers as I mold the inside of that scoop shape. That's coming along nicely. That's coming along nicely. Okay. And now that I have that molded, I'm going to eyeball about a half an inch around the total scoop mold and cut off the excess clay. So I lightly draw my line first around. And then I go back over that line and actually cut a little bit deeper into it. And you can also use a X-Acto knife for this as well. Just be careful. We want no accidents. Okay, so remove that and I set that to the side. Now I'm going to take the time to clean up the sides of my mold by using the water and clay mixture that I have there, and that is called Slip. So I'm going to just take a little, and where I cut all sides, I'm going to make sure that all those sides are smooth, and that little bit of water clay mixture helps to do that. I know, right? It's so cool and it's so simple. All sides. So when your clay is nice and soft still, this is an easy process. If you're working with harder clay, it will not quite be this easy, and you might have to do pay a little more attention to it. So you do want to make sure that you start off with nice pliable clay, okay? And I like to make sure that not only are all sides nice and cleaned up, but the inside as well, just nice and smooth, and make sure that I'm getting that good shape that I want out of my mold. Okay, once that's done, we can set that part to the side, and we're going to work on our handle. Okay, so I'm just going to take the excess clay that we cut off from around the slab. Just going to cut enough to cut out the shape of the handle. Okay, and then I'm going to compress it slightly, gently, on both sides, just to make sure it's ready. Yeah, and again, I'm going to lay that mold piece down and leave about a 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, all the way around the outside, and cut that out. And I'm going to use my utility knife again for that. And guys, these are not, you can actually find tools really inexpensively these days, depending on your skill level. So if you are just starting to try clay out and it's a hobby, by all means, you can get inexpensive tools and still be able to accomplish what you'd like to accomplish, okay? The skill is all in how you work. So remove that excess clay. And I'm going to try something here. The handle has an indentation in it that I want to see if I can make by pushing the clay into that mold so that I can get the same indentation. Just like we push the clay into the scoop, I'm trying that with the handle. It's looking really good. Loving it. Until I removed it from the mold and I broke through it. So that one's a dud. And I'm gonna start again. No harm, no foul. I'll just take my excess clay again. I'm going to compress the clay lightly and gently. And I'm going to, this time, still trace out the handle with the 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch all the way around extra. And guys, the extra accounts for shrinkage that will happen when you fire or have your piece fired in a kiln. Okay, so removing that excess clay. This time I'm not taking the easy route out. I'm going to make sure that all sides of the handle are clean, just like I did the scoop, using my clay and water mix, which is slip. And this one is very loose, it's not thick. I'm going all the way around the outsides of the handle cutout. Make sure those are smooth. And now, instead of just pushing my finger in to make that indentation, I'm going to mark the lines, the area. I'm going to mark out the area where I will remove some of the clay from the inside of that area in order to make the indentation. I know, it sounds like a lot, y'all, but you know, sometimes you just got to bring it on that level. So I'm using my trusty ruler and my needle tool, and I'm just drawing those lines lightly again because I'm not trying to cut through the clay. I'm just marking those lines so that I can know where I'm playing within. And then I'm using the scoop part on my needle tool, and I'm lightly going to scrape off the top layer or a layer of clay from the inside of those lines that I drew. You see, I'm trying to make sure that I get to the outside corners, all corners of the lines that I drew. And then I just take a little bit of that slip water and smooth that down to make my indentation, while also making it look neat and professional. Okay. I'm just cleaning that up on the side. It's those little details, guys, that will set your work apart. Even if you're just doing it for yourself at home, taking the time to make sure that you don't have those rough edges. Yes, they can be cleaned later, but if they don't have to be, and you're hand building and you can take that time, then, you know, just take that little bit of extra time. And there you have it. I have a nice little indentation in my handle. So now I'm going to take my scoop base and handle, and I'm just matching to see where I want it to go. And then I'm going to take my scoring tool, and it makes something similar to hashtag marks. So I am going to make those marks where the handle and the scoop will meet on the top side of the handle, of the scoop. And then also on the bottom side of the handle where it will touch the scoop. And this is important because those hash marks, once I take my brush and dip it in that slip clay and water mix, I'm going to rub that on to those marks on both the scoop and the handle, and it will act like a glue to bind those two pieces together. Okay, this is the most important part of the making process. You want to make sure that you score, which are those hashtag marks, and that you slip the pieces together. And then you lightly push those pieces together for binding purposes. And now I'm looking for something, because my handle is thin, it can't hold itself up. So I'm looking for something that will help it to hold its shape as it dries. Will this work? It would if I wanted that shape, but I didn't want that shape. So I switched to this bowl. Yes, it's the bowl that I made. And that's a little bit closer. So I'm going to work on putting more of the clay and water mixture, which is slip, around the handle with my brush, and make sure that I get a good seal around the base of that handle. All the way around. So not just the parts you can see on top, but you want to make sure underneath you have that good binding as well. And you can see that my handle is getting a little wavy. If I wanted it to stay curved, then I could leave it sitting like this, and as it dries, it's going to dry into that shape. If I want it to be a little bit straighter, then I have to figure something out. So I turn the bowl over, and that's the shape that I want. And so I'm going to leave the scoop to dry just like this. That concludes the learning portion of this video. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in to learn how to make a scoop. Yes, you can use at home. And it wasn't that hard, was it? Thanks again for watching.